Good morning, everybody. It's Serafina, and I'm here with your daily tarot and astro insight. So, today I was reflecting on the difference between free will and surrender. For those of you who watched my video yesterday, I mentioned how one of the greatest gifts that Creator or the universe has given us is free will. Because through this free will, we are able to co create and to make and build the life that we want for ourselves. And it's all through decisions that we make and choices that are made along the way. However, another big Piscean theme, as we're going into a deeper understanding of what Pisces is the concept of surrender. And the ability to surrender is something that I feel that everybody learns in at their own pace and in their own time. Some of us are not even interested in the ability to surrender. However, I do feel that that was one of the first things that I learned when I started to recover from alcohol and drug addiction through the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous. One of the steps was that you surrender to a higher power. And this is something that I still feel that I'm learning how to do every single day because it is part of the human ego wants to think that it's in control, wants to think that it knows how to do things and what is best for itself and what it needs in order to accomplish what the ego wants. However, I feel that I am constantly humbled. I am constantly reminded that I actually don't always know what's best for me. Yes, I do have more wisdom now than I did before, for example, but there are still ways that life surprises me with me not knowing exactly what it is that I want and need at the time, and that actually it's this cosmic intelligence that knows what is best for me. And surrender can take many forms for different people, but ultimately, as I said, we can look at transits in the sky with astrology, and we can look at energies with the cards. And something that an astrologist that I learned from, her name was Demetra George, said is that once you learn to see the patterns in the sky with the stars, it's incredible to see how little free will we actually have. Not because, we are kind of like bound in the cosmos by other planetary movements and by other cosmic forces, which a lot of the times we have no idea exist. And not only that, but we're also living in a human world. We're also living in a world where there's so many other restraints that are put on us, whether it be through marketing, whether it be through capitalism, whether it be through politics, and other people around us who have a say in what happens to us. So the way that I feel that it's easiest to transcend through all of these things that do affect us on a daily basis and that infringe on our free will is to be able to turn our trust and to turn whatever it is that we cannot control to a power that is greater than ourselves. And that can mean different things for different people. I'm not trying to create atheists into believers here. What I'm just saying is that there needs to be some acknowledgement that we do not control everything that happens to us, that there are other factors out there outside of ourselves. And part of the human experience is trying to understand these things outside of ourselves. That is why some of us turn to astrology and turn to tarot. And the beauty of using these divination tools is ultimately knowing that there is a great cosmic mystery out there, that we do not know what is going to happen. All we can do is tap into these tools and the symbols in order to have a little bit of an understanding. And ultimately, these tools will only speak to us to the level of what we're able to understand, of what we're able to comprehend, and what this cosmic intelligence wants us to understand at the time, because information goes revealing itself through time. So I think I've already spoken a lot about this, but so I just wanted to bring to the table these two things, right? We have free will And we do have this ability to surrender to the greater cosmic forces or even human forces around us, right? And so, where is it that you fluctuate? And I think that we all fluctuate. Sometimes we feel like we have more control. Sometimes we feel like we have a need to surrender. And so the way I see it, it's kind of like the waves of an ocean. It's an ebb and flow. Sometimes I want to surrender more to God. Sometimes I want to take more control over my life. And so I think that's just a constant process for all of us. Okay, let's get into the tarot cards. I would like to call upon the spirit of the universe that loves us unconditionally. I would like to call upon the spirits of this land and of this earth and of this ocean, and I thank them for their ancient wisdom and for holding the space. And I would like to call upon my team of light, my angels, archangels, ancestors, and higher self, and I thank you for your presence and guidance with this tarot reading. Okay. Beloved Spirit of the universe, what loving guidance is there for the collective today? What loving guidance is there for the collective today? We have the Three of Pentacles. It says works. What further guidance is there for the collective today? We have the Two of Wands. Whoa, this one wanted to come out. The Empress. What further guidance is there for the collective today? We have the Nine of Discs. This card loves to come out. Okay, so let's pick one more card from the Threads of Fate. What further guidance is there for the collective today? We have the Outlaw. Okay, so today I'm going to pick one more from this one. Because this card is speaking to me a lot right now, so I want to complement it with another oracle card. What further guidance is there for the collective today? We have guidance. When you make divine intelligence your foundation, you finally have a fixed star to follow. Okay, so I can see what's being woven here. So I'm going to start with this card today. This card speaks of us being able to step outside of our comfort zones and to be able to really examine the ways in which societal structures, our family, our friends have imposed certain ways for us to behave and to believe. And the importance of being able to step outside of that, of to value what it is that we value, and from there being able to step outside of our comfort zones. And I find it interesting that we got the card of guidance. It says, when you make divine intelligence your foundation, you finally have a fixed star to follow. So here it's saying, let's examine the things that we do, the things we believe, because maybe we should be following more of our own inner guidance and actually not only turning that inner guidance towards ourselves, but also towards this greater cosmic intelligence, because this intelligence, whether it's outside of me or inside of me, is what knows what is true and good for my life path. So let's go into the tarot cards. We have the Three of Discs or Pentacles. This one speaks of community. This one speaks of us working towards something. In other tarot decks, we see three people working on a chapel. And basically it says lots of us are doing new projects We are working with new communities in order to attain our goals, right? And so this is something that I spoke about right now, that Mars and Venus entered Aquarius together, is that we are going to be networking into new groups, into new it could even be stuff online, right? Because Aquarius has to do a lot with online groups and being able to reach far with our communication skills. So I feel that, starting off with this card, there is going to, a lot of us are going through new community settings, reaching out towards things, delegating, because we have the Two of Wands, which speaks of us being able to have that vision outward. We had this card a couple readings ago of having the world in our hands and being able to make plans before we set out on our voyage as we're looking out towards the ocean, right? So community work and being able to make our plans and to work on our creative plans before we continue forward. The Empress card speaks usually of a mother figure that is in our life, or us being able to mother ourselves, being able to nurture ourselves. The Empress is all of the queens, the Queen of Wands, the Queen of Cups, of Pentacles, and of Swords, all together mixed in one. This is ruled by Venus, right? And so she is very nurturing, she is very intuitive, right? So the Empress coming out here saying community work, work with others to be able to establish new heights, to be able to plan more towards the future and putting ourselves out there into the world while checking in with what it is that makes us feel valued, what it is that makes us feel nurtured, and how we can bring it out into the world with other people. Because again, we have the card of sovereignty, we have the card of Nine of Pentacles, of independence, of being able to mother ourselves, being able to be that nurturing voice, that nurturing hand that maybe lots of us expected to have from our mother, being able to have that for ourselves, right? And with that, stepping outside of what has been expected from us, stepping outside of our comfort zones, of being the outlaw, of being able to I'm actually feeling compelled to read from this book. Let's read from this book of what it says about the outlaw. 101. When you pull the outlaw card, it is time to go against the grain. It can be very scary to do this. All humans at some point or another have received the message that conforming is necessary for survival. In fact, we are hardwired to be that way. Early on in human history, the individuals that were outcast from their tribe would not survive. That still lives with us. The fear that if we go against the pack, our survival will be threatened. But the outlaw gives us courage to stand alone in stark contrast. With that which is widely accepted or normalized, the outlaw pushes for progress within the collective. The outlaw is a good ally when we are working on breaking free of limiting inherited patterns and beliefs. And so it's interesting, right? Because it talks about being in community and being in the collective and being able to work towards things, but still being able to plan a little bit ahead, check with our intentions, because the world is our oyster, because there may be certain aspects that we're missing when it comes to like things that we learned. It could be even, are some of us having to work on our relationship with our mother, or are you a mother who is working on your relationship with your children? Because lots of these inherent patterns of how we fit into society, how we are loved, how we are nurtured comes from our mother. And then we have that with the card of independence, of sovereignty, of being able to be abundant, and from that place being able to give. But first we need to be able to question our comfort zones and to be able to be that contrast, to not be afraid of standing out from the collective, not being afraid of standing out from what other people around us expect us to be. And that genuine guidance of how to be comes from our relationship with Source and our relationship with ourself, which is ultimately the same thing. There is a God which is inside and there is a God which is outside. And when you align them, things just start flowing magically, right? So when you make the divine intelligence your foundation, you finally have a fixed star to follow. So, yeah, I feel that the general advice is let's see how we fit into the collective by still allowing ourselves to be our independent selves, by being able to plan ahead and check with our true motivations and intentions so that we can fit in like a gear that is actually helping things work, and checking in with how we are showing up for ourselves. Are we nurturing ourselves? Are we nurturing others? Are we being a loving presence in the world, no matter how difficult or how absurd or how Aquarian this may seem? Because the guidance is always there. So, to finish, let us pick a card from. Let's see. I think I'm going to pick Kuan Yin today. Kuan Yin being the mother of compassion. Okay. Beloved Mother Kuan Yin, what loving guidance is there for the collective today? What further guidance? Oh, we have Maiden Magu, number 16. The Maiden Magu, goddess of spring, healing and transformation, brings you assistance now. You are asked to honor that light can come from even the darkest beginnings, beloved one. In fact, sometimes we need to enter into the unknown parts of ourselves and find exactly what we need to grow in peace, creative fulfillment, and happiness. The challenge can be to trust that we will arise from the darker place again. Just as the spring always follows the winter, beloved, so too will any inner work with the shadow precede a beautiful rebirth for you. So it's interesting how we had the spring equinox in a week. And it may be that maybe what I'm interpreting is that some of us are going through these last winter pushes, these last winter shadow work that comes with the darkness, with the inevitable darkness and the cold that it brings, right? You are being guided by Mother Divine Kuan Yin through the Maiden Magu to realize that there is a part of you within that is trying to emerge. You may have judgments of others on one issue or trait that seems to be more repetitive or noticeable of late. You're guided to sense what beauty within you could be unearthed. These judgments trying to make its way into your conscious awareness, bringing you more of yourself to enjoy and share with the world. She is blessing you to realize that you will soon enter the spring of rebirth with this process. So, whatever processes we have been going through while reevaluating ourselves, while finding our place within the collective and making plans for the future, and nurturing ourselves and realizing what it is that we have here to contribute and where it is that we find our true guidance. What is our North Star? What is it that keeps us going through these dark times and into the spring, right? So I feel that lots of us are going to be coming out like beautiful daffodils in the spring that's to come just in a couple of weeks, actually. Okay, everybody, I hope that this was useful to you, and I will be back here tomorrow. Bye.